Hey everyone, this weekend we had a few BCSs as well. These were from the kind of areas of lesser attendance, I have to say. So usually that means more interesting deck lists, right? But actually that's not true because Vietnam usually gets a lots of people going to their events. And I think there were quite a lot of Singaporean people that flew over. So yeah, at least that one should be pretty big. But they only give 2 invites. Only 2 invites. So yeah, let's see some of those lists, right? I think some of them are pretty interesting. But first off, we have Spain. So this is Europe, right? And there's some, this is at least a standard, right? Pretty straightforward stuff. We have a Claudine, even a Jewel making it. But then in the top 4, we have Leo Segler making it with PBD. First place PBD, beating out Charles Frederick with Minerva. And then Miguel bringing the Greedon, right? Greedon performed really well last week, beating out Kohoi Jin. So pretty good. And then after that, we also had the V Premium, I'm assuming, on the same day. Lots of Aquaforce, as usual. And then let's look at what actually top forward. We have Yoan there, coming in first place with the Thavs. Yoan is a machine. Just good to see him at Worlds again. Should be with a sponsored invite as well, right? So, yeah, getting that V invite. Also, Remain L as well, taking it. So, in second place with the Gurgit. And then third place was Thomas, and then fourth was Xavier with the Ange. So Gurgit's actually kind of the more interesting one, I have to say. I don't think we really seen it that much recently, but it seems they did well. So congrats. And then after that, we do have the premium one that I think was held on the next day. Lots of Link Joker, also an Eve as well, right? So some interesting decks there, and bunch of them there. But then hey, right there we have Lewis coming in first place of Neo Nectar. I think I've seen Lewis's Neo Nectar come like top 8 like last week, and also been like playing a bunch of other decks too, like Narukami's and all that. So getting that first place, getting that sponsored invite to Worlds is pretty good. Second place was the Spike Brothers list, right? Spike Brothers is Ludovico coming in second, and then third was Kai with Narukami, and fourth was the Eve. So I'm assuming this is the mill build because I don't really think there is an Eve build out there that focuses on attacking. But Giuseppe, unfortunately, did not make it into an invite spot, but was able to take Eve to at least a 4th place finish, right? So Matoa needs to go. That's what I have to say, right? All these mill decks. So we only see a few of them now, but you let them fester, let them stay around, and we're going to see a lot more coming in later, I think. So good job at the top, but just another example of Matoa needs to go. Yeah. Next we have is Vietnam. So this is, I think this. If you look at the locals results that Vietnam posted, there's always a huge number of people who join these events. Like standard 200 plays, even locals getting like in the high like 60s, even more, I think. Right, so this one was pretty interesting. 2 Gandiva, 2 Orphist, right? Set 12 is legal in this. This is the first tournaments that they are legal this weekend. The Orphist making that splash. I'm sure like a lot of these players also play the kind of like JP builds. At least Singapore as well does, and a few of them flew over. So, they have that experience coming into this tournament. But then into the top 4, I think only top 2 gets invites, right? So 2 of them were the Gandivas. So we got Nguyen Pham An, first place, and then Gavin Lee with second. 2 Gandivas, and then Cha Yong Chi and Lee Nok Tai An with the Orphist builds. Unfortunately, I don't think they got an invite, but I heard they're also going to Indo, which is this weekend. Well, at least the Singaporeans as well going to Indo is sounding really crazy, by the way. The amount of people going. Yeah. Congrats there with the Gandiva players, getting some unsponsored invites to Worlds, and I think a sponsored invite to Singapore, right, for the final tournament kind of thing. And then here is the V Premium as well, 4 Bermuda Triangle, a lot of Bermuda Triangle doing it this time. And then even a Malekith, right? But then here in the top 3, I think this is where I think Ho-Cat is either Malaysian or Singapore, right? Benjamin Tier, Gavin Lee as well. Okay, basically a lot of Anges, right? This place Ange top a lot, but then we had Hugh Nguyen, I think. So should be my pal, right? Came third with the Chronojet MFD. So I think a lot of people were interested in this list last week when I think Jackie came like second with this. So we get to at least see this deck a bit. And then following on, we got Premium, so 3 Mega Colonies in Vietnam. And then 2 Narakamis, Oracle Think Tank, Grand Blue, yeah. And the first place was actually a Flagberg Mega Colony, Flagberg Colony. Second was just Eradicators, third was Shunri. And then fourth was it's like a witch OTT build, so we'll take a look at it very, very soon. So first off, let's look at the MFD, right? So what you do with Chronojet, you just Chronojet shenanigans, you bind all the stuff, go into MFD, get the extra turn, just kind of kill like that. I don't really think there's that much. You have like things like you have Uluru as well. She can help you bind stuff. So it kind of helps you build that extra bind quicker. Not running the levels are cat. I think Jackie was running that one. I think I saw that. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, if you're looking for an MFD build, here is one that you can copy and give it a try, right? And then after that, we have the Flagberg Colony one. I think this is... I always like to see how they build, you know, the Flagberg Colony list. They got a nice... So was this grade 1 to get an extra protect, I guess, just to get some extra defense. And then the blistering blister, or brilliant blister, sorry. And then just the kind of stride deck is pretty straightforward there. And then lastly, this one was probably the interesting one. So OG, I know Brandon was running this. He was on stream in Sydney as well. But ideally, what you do is you have the Popo plays. You also have the ability to just go into like Ichikishima and get like an extra attack with the Vanguard. So just an extra attack under Ichikishima is pretty threatening, especially when those Vanguard attacks get drive check. And then you can combo it with like a bigger turn with like Popo or just stuff, right? Because they're under Ichikishima, it's very, very hard to guard. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea behind this OTT list. And then after that, we do have the Myanmar as well. So Myanmar looking pretty good as well. I think every year the place looks better. But they have like a one of everything. Everyone's playing something different, right? You know, you got your Gandivas. No Willistas though. No Willistas. But then you have the top 4 here with Overlord coming first. Abyss 66 with the Bastion. So this will be pretty interesting to see because we don't get the Sapien Owl. Third was Luca with the Gandiva, and Roy was with the Minaguzio, right? And then, so let's take a quick look. So this is the Bastion list without the Owl. So you can see kind of the core here, right? You want Grandia Edge. This guy is broken, like really, really good. After that, I think it's a bit up in the air what you want to put in. They ran 4-bit all, right, to search out your Bastion grade 4s. And then it can help search out your Aldens. You wouldn't be chaining Aldens with this list because you don't have Al. So if you can search it out and like search out a Grandia Edge, that's pretty good. Like that's a field already, and then you can use this to help you like go through a few cards. And then you have the come forth as well. But other than that, like running 4 Sages, right? I'm just assuming that, you know, you play some Sages down to get some top deck checks and, you know, make sure you're hitting some stuff, right? So with Bastion, Accord, you don't really need to check a grade 3. You just stand a grade 3 for no reason, right? It's just literally free. You just have to discard a Bastion to get the drive check. So I think that's fine, right? Just stay on this guy, go through all your drive checks, get good drive checks as well. And then when the time comes, you can ride up to Bastion Prime when you're like out of CB. The Sages will still kind of help you out with like the drive checks to make sure you're hitting a 3 so you can restand the whole board. Because I think if you've played enough, you'll understand the situations where, you know, you could get triple drive, like, man, I'm never missing this triple drive, but you get something like, you know, trigger, and then like a PG, right? And then you just feel really sad because you might just lose the next turn, right? And this deck's running a few more grade 1s. So like, you know, this grade 1, you're also running the Sanctitude, which won't work with Prime. So because I think you're running Sanctitude, just staying on the Bastion Accord for as long as you can, right? And then, you know, Sages will just help you hit that 3 later on. You don't have to use the CV one thing. You just have to check top deck and go for it, right? So pretty cool, pretty cool. And then next after this, we have the Emilia Gruzio. This one is pretty straightforward as well, running a few of the normal stuff. We have the Cycler here, right, as the kind of extra draw tech. What is interesting is it's not running at like max mask, only 2 mask. Of course, you can still search it with the Dragon Tree Wretch, but you know, having more targets is pretty good for the Emilia Gruzio effect as well. But what's interesting is that they're running the Almagesta grade 1. So what you can do with this is that you can bind a trigger from Soul and it gets 10k. So ideally what you can do is you can accelerate your bind count with this and just kind of get as many different triggers into your bind zone as quickly as possible so that when you do your Emilia Gruzio turns, you're maximizing the amount of restricts that your opponent has and that's being applied to your opponent. So in a way, you're kind of, you know, getting more pressure early, so they just take a bunch of damage and can't guard and lose, right? So pretty interesting tech. And then after that, we do have the V Premium for Myanmar. So 3 Royal Paladins, and they're all kind of different, right? The pie chart is still, got 8 slices. So a Jewel Knight, MLB, and a Sanctuary Guard, right? Got them all, right? We got them all. But then the rest is like Genesis, Grand Blue, and all that. But then after that, we have the top for first place was the Night Rose from Ong. And then second was HY. Came first the previous day, I think, with the Jewel Knights. David with the Highlander, and Kant with the Leopold. And then after that, we do have the Premium. So what is going on Premium? 2 Oracle Think Tanks running something different there. We have a Eugene and a Nova Grappler as well. That's spicy, right? Spicy. But if we take a look, the Nova Grappler actually won. So Neglect coming first with Blaus, right? Sleeping Log was second with Highlander. Third was Luca with the Night Rose. And fourth was Sorashi with the Eugene. All right, Eugene. I remember Eugene back then. You ran it with Nazari? I forgot the name, but it's the one that makes your opponent discard cards, right? But now we don't have that. So what do you do? So let's kind of take a look. So first with the Blaus, right? I'm sure certain people out there are huge fans of Blaus. And to be honest, right, Blaus look really cool. So it's very cool to see Blaus actually doing well and getting a win. I'm not going to lie. I'm not 100% sure on what this deck does. I know Blaus restand. So... busted restand, I guess. You have Winning Champ in 2s as well. I think there's just a lot of ways to play Novas. I'm not 100% sure on the way to do it. That's actually Kelvin's territory. So if we I think a lot of the people doing well in BCS this week will be posting their deck lists usually on VG Top Decks. You know, check there, and then maybe Kelvin can talk about it. His teeth is broken. He had to pull out wisdom teeth, so maybe he can't, but we can at least take a look there. But very, very good job, right? Nova Grapplers. Actually, this is running from Stephen Lee, also winning with Nova Grapplers last week too. Fortunately, he wasn't playing. He was playing Victor instead of Blau. But yeah, this one we got the Blau, right? So 2 weeks in a row, Nova Grapplers has done well, right? And then we also have the Eugene list. So this one's also quite interesting because what is this deck trying to do? And I don't know. I think that is still this question I'm asking. But here is kind of the things you can do with this list, right? So first off, we have the Blazing Flare Dragon. You can kind of wipe your opponent's markers. You know how Premium is now. They get forces they get two markers immediately when they ride up. Getting 2 excels and things like that. This will just help you wipe all of those annoying aggressive decks. Get that stuff out of there, and kind of control the game from there. You can also combo it with Best Harvest, so retire everything, draw a bunch of cards. Very nice. And then what does Eugene do? Well, Eugene doesn't really do much in this deck, but what it does is it's called Eugene, right? So you can combo it with the Oswald, and this kind of just adds a restand ability to your Vanguard. Well, let your Vanguard restand. Your second drive will be 1 drive and crit 1. So it's not going to be as threatening as all the broken stuff out there. But what you can do is you can combo it with a stride, I guess. So you got some good strides. You wipe the board. You have Baccarat or Barakat. Yeah, so it's pretty good, right? Barakat gets an extra crit. What is interesting about Barakat, though, let's read the effect, is that there is no once per turn here. There is no once per turn. So, I guess the epiphany for me is that, you attack with this. There's nothing on your opponent's on the board because you just wiped it. It gets 10k, a crit, and a drive. And then, you'll restand it, I guess. And it becomes 1 crit and 1 drive again, but because you attack and there's no kind of, there's no once per turn, you can turn another card face up, and then you get another 10k plus 1 crit and plus 1 drive, right? I'm pretty sure that works. Because you just increase or decrease its drive to 1 until the end of turn, right? So it decreases to 1, but then when you apply another effect onto it, you get another 1. So I guess that's the play, right? I guess that's the play, yeah? Because they're running 4 Barakats as well. So kind of I guess it's a pretty interesting tech, right? Pretty cool. So a nice weird deck to come out and maybe can spark some ideas, right? And then lastly, we have the BCL in Wenzhou from China. This one is JP format in set 13. As this is actually a pretty meta set 13 stuff. So I feel like at Worlds we might see all of these decks except for Trading Tools and Mygo, because I don't think Mygo will be out yet, and also Token Rumble will be out, but everything else, I feel like we have a good chance. Mushi King is coming out for English in that set. And then what is actually winning is the Full Blast, right? Full Blast taking them, then the Drajuled, and then Training Tools, and then another Full Blast. So that is pretty much all the wins. We actually have the list, so they were able to get the list. So this is the top 4 list. I'm not sure what order they're in. So here is your good old Full Blast deck, a 221. Pretty much the build I think is the most standard right out there right now. We got the Drajuled, so I guess that was first. This is second. Very standard too. I guess the Quenlu is not so standard as much. I know a lot of the JP ones just running the Draco kit for the extra consistency. Third place we have the Training Tools. Yep, that's cool. And then fourth was the other deck. Should be the same, right? I guess the change we see is like 1 cat instead of 2. And is that the main change? A 2-2-1 lineup for the build. I mean the Rebel forms, and oh no, it's running one maple. So that's the difference. So anyway, that is all the results we have this week. I'm sure, again, I just want to say, if we want to go more in depth into the decks, I know some of these are lacking deck codes, and we don't really go through the decks that we usually see. Usually on VG Top Decks, the players will post their decks with comments and like discussions on how it's played. So if you want to tune in on that, we record that on Thursday, and that should be out on Friday, because I get tired. So later on in the week, we should have more, I think we'll get more results, and so look out for that, right? Look out for that. So that is it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, bye.